21, my mother said, only a doctor for you. When I was 22, she said, all right, a lawyer, CPA. 24, she said, well, grab a dentist. 26, she said, anything. If he could make it to the door, he was mine, you know? What do you mean you don't like him? He's intelligent, he found the bell himself. What do you want? Anybody that came to my house was it. Oh, Joan, there's the most attractive young man down here with a mask and a gun. Anything I
Joan Rivers, the trailblazing female stand-up comic. We saw her early in her career there from the Ed Sullivan Show in 1967. Of course, sadly, we all received the news that Joan Rivers died yesterday from complications following a routine vocal procedure. She was 81. In a statement announcing her mother's death, Melissa Rivers said she died peacefully, surrounded by family and close friends. Morgan Thompson remains here with me and joining us from the left coast to discuss the life, career, and the person who was Joan Rivers, our good friend Jame Hirsen. James, we're pleased to have you back, and the obvious question, it's so good to have you this morning. The reaction in Hollywood, what have you seen, what have you heard in the wake of Ms. Rivers' passing?
Well, she's highly respected, particularly by comedy writers and comedians. And so people, they knew it, or let's say they were prepared for it, not like Robin Williams. But I have my own personal story. I was a regular on the show, Bill Maher's show, Politically Incorrect. And I appeared with Joan Rivers a couple of times. And I have to tell you, even though on that show, you know, it was usually 4 people plus Bill Maher against the right of center person, but we would win because we had the logic and reason on our side. But when Joan Rivers with her sharp tongue was sitting over there, I was a bit afraid. But you know, what's amazing is she never really used it as a weapon against me. And on 2 occasions since then, she identified herself as a Republican. And in terms of her non-social issue views, she had some strong opinions. And recently, she supported Israel and condemned the media for their coverage. And so I think Joan Rivers was a closet Republican for a long, long time. And that's my insight. But in terms of comedy, she goes back. Remember, she started in late night when Jack Parr was the host. Wow. This is in the 1950s. So she goes back, she was a contemporary of Henny Youngman. She was a one-liner, Catskills-oriented comedian, and she could snap them out even right before her death. The energy level, the work ethic, 12 bestsellers, constantly working. She's an amazing inspiration for young people and young women in particular.
Well, James, she really was such an incredible person, and I actually met her on QVC, and it's so interesting because she's such a huge personality and such a wonderful personality and so larger than life, but she's quite tiny, as you know, and I don't know if the viewers know that. I mean, I'm only 5'4" and 110 pounds, and she's probably 5 feet tall and like 90 pounds. She's just this little package of just exploding energy.
Yeah, and a very off-camera, shockingly sweet and disarming, generous. I saw, you know, it's funny because Penn Jillette was in the building one time when I was there, and he came over. I'd like to meet Miss Rivers. Penn Jillette is like 6'7", and here's Joan Rivers, who you say she's about 5 foot tall, 90 pounds.
Right.
And obviously very disciplined because she's always been so fit. Yes. And so energetic, but it's amazing. You know, Joan Rivers joked a lot about her death. One of the things that she said was that she hoped that at her funeral, Meryl Streep would cry in 5 different accents. Now, I hope Meryl Streep takes her up on that.
And the diamond-studded toe tag, did you hear about that? That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it was Harry Winston she wanted to make it.
Donate her body to Tupperware.
Oh, goodness.
So I just, you know, the thing is, you can't, she's just a barrel of laughs, and she's somebody that was in an age of political correctness. Joan Rivers stood for the antithesis of that because her whole goal was to speak what we're thinking. That's what she said.
You spoke about a very different private Joan Rivers as opposed to her public persona. We're going to switch gears now because not to denigrate the memory of Ms. Rivers, but James, there was another huge story this week, and it really falls into the area of something private becoming public. This massive leak of celebrity nude photos. We're hearing talk that the Apple's iCloud was breached somehow. The FBI is investigating. What has these multiple revelations, what have they done to Hollywood right now?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, people have used the term the post-privacy era. I think it's true. And I think one thing that's happened in Hollywood is that entertainment attorneys, agents, managers, the handlers are telling young people, don't take naked selfies. And also, don't put anything in the digital world if you expect it to be private. Because the fact is, the word is reportedly that some of these actresses, Jennifer Lawrence had a password. Hunger was her password. I mean, she needs a technical consultant. I think they're going to get them now. I think the sheer amount of celebrities and the amount of pictures is going to affect the way people talk about this in Hollywood. There still will be people, though, unfortunately. And by the way, young people all over shouldn't do this as well, because we live in an age where celebrities are stalked. There are digital paparazzi. But guess what? When young people engage in this practice of sending provocative photos, they may just break up with the boyfriend or girlfriend, and the motive there is revenge, and it gets released on the web. So
James,
parents
it seems
can learn
kind of obvious. If you don't want a naked photo out there, don't take one. But you hear a lot of these celebrities actually release these somewhat on purpose to create a buzz and to create attention. Do you think there's any truth in that?
Only about 30 seconds remain.
Yeah, I think there's truth to that. And I think people have asked, will it's hurt their careers? The answer is no, because the culture has changed. Going back, it's not Vanessa Williams' world anymore. And these things actually can help their career, unfortunately.
Jame Hirsen, with perspective on the passing of Joan Rivers, with perspective on all the death of privacy, we can call it, the post-privacy era. James, as always, we appreciate your right thinking from the left coast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, James.
Always a pleasure.
And America's Forum will be right back after this.